Hello everyone, my name is ENGL.Maldonado. This is my presentation for Ms. Gonzalez, who teaches English 1301. This is due on December 13th and is called My Struggles as a Student. Now here's a picture of my dog, Loki, who is here to help me present. So for my first Cornell notes and what I missed, it was originally due on September 6th, but Ms. Gonzalez was kind enough to give us feedback and gave us 3 extra days to revise and resubmit the work. If she had kept the original score, I would have received a 75 out of 100, but because she allowed us to revise it after the feedback, I got an 85 for the assignment. The part about me losing 20 points for turning it in late was just a small error that was later corrected. Now while that's not a bad score in my opinion, since this was the beginning of the semester, I felt disappointed in myself for not getting a higher score. So with the second Cornell notes, again she gave us the chance to revise it. Originally, I got a 30 out of 40, which translates to a 75, but after receiving the revision, my new score was an 84. She also said in her comment, overall, good work, keep adding more vocabulary. Normally I would have been slightly disappointed in the grade, but after reading her feedback, I felt a little proud of my work and was genuinely excited to learn more during class. It was satisfying knowing I was improving and raising myself to her standards. So for my third Cornell notes, it felt like I had taken a step backwards. I had done well in the other 2, but this was the worst score I had received out of all 3 assignments. If she kept the original score, I would have earned a 50 instead of a 65. I did appreciate the notes left on my pages, so I could avoid repeating the same mistakes again on future papers. At this point, we started working on the first essay for the semester. I completed the first 2 assignments on time without any point deductions, so this really inflated my ego. I felt like I was the greatest of all time, and nothing could stop me from writing the perfect essay. Before we turned in the completed version of the first essay, we were supposed to submit the intro and 2 body paragraphs for a grade. It was supposed to have an original title, an introduction, 2 body paragraphs with citations, and a works cited page. Then it was also expected to be formatted in MLA. At this point, my procrastination started to rise, and I was putting off homework to prioritize other classes or getting a paycheck. So for this assignment, I only submitted the intro and the first body paragraph. I also made a mistake on the works cited page and had it mixed with the essay instead of having its own page. These mistakes were entirely my fault and were preventable. I was struggling with motivation and was having money troubles at the time. I would work part-time with my friend running cables through buildings, and these jobs would often run late, and I would have to choose between sleeping or completing schoolwork. Depending on how exhausted I would be, I would typically choose to sleep. So even though I got a 65 for this assignment, it was better than a 0 in my opinion. I received feedback for the first essay after it was finally completed and submitted. Ms. Gonzalez said, "Dylan, great detail and tone. Unfortunately, you missed the opportunity for this essay to be well organized to match the prompt. Overall good work. I enjoyed reading your essay. You are a strong writer." These comments gave me a sense of relief. I felt like I could still complete this class if I continued to push forward. I got an 80 on this essay, and I believe there was plenty of room to grow as a writer. After the first essay, 2 Cornell notes were due a week later. I completely forgot about them and didn't complete them. Each one takes me about 2 hours to complete, and I was struggling with another class at this point, so I pushed them to the back burner. The worst part about not completing them is losing potential progress I could have made as a writer. At this point, it was becoming clear I had started to neglect my education. I was messing up simple assignments like bringing my first essay printed to class so we could analyze our writing and grow. Missing simple things like this would often fill me with regret and sadness. We started working on the second essay. We were required to do research and present potential solutions to problems we noticed. I completed these assignments and felt like there was a chance to redeem myself and boost my grade. I was confident I could zone in on this essay and give it my best shot. At this point, I'm struggling to balance working part-time and my other classes. I had hoped to raise my grades by this point, but I was letting other things distract me, and my grades were reflecting that. It felt like I was moving backwards, and my mindset wasn't as concrete as before. I was really struggling to motivate myself, and began wondering if dropping the class was my only viable option. After I got back my second essay, I wasn't shocked at the grade. I thoroughly believed that I didn't develop my thoughts as clearly as I should have. I was happy, but also slightly disappointed in myself since I was curious about what my score could have been had I allocated the right amount of time. We start working on the third essay, and I'm still struggling to submit my assignments when they're due. At the time, I was genuinely concerned if something was wrong with me. It had never been so difficult for me to manage my time properly before this point, and the stress was constantly affecting me mentally. Heading into November, it felt like I had completely destroyed any chance in making a decent grade in this class. If I had the chance to go back, I would move my priorities around and focus on my education. Essay 3 required us to watch a movie and select certain quotes from the main cast that supported the main theme. I pushed this assignment off until the last minute possible and did not turn in the draft that was due. The only person who suffered was me, since this was a chance to have Ms. Gonzalez read and deliver necessary feedback. As we got closer to the end of the year, it became easier to let my grades slip away. I attended a workshop before class just so I could have an extra day to complete the third essay. I lost 20 points before it was even graded because of how irresponsible I had been. I could not tell if I was just distracted or if laziness was getting the best of me since the end of the year was soon. My score for the third and final essay was a 68. Definitely not my best work, but after reflecting, I realized that my goal had shifted. It changed from passing the class with an A to just passing the class. So while I was glad that my essay was decent, a small part of me had hoped it was more than just decent. Alright, and that's the end of my presentation. I wanted to go ahead and end it with my dog Loki dressed as a boxer because he is a boxer, and I thought it'd be a cute way to end the presentation, and then the citations will be at the end.